Welcome to Dropping Gems Aftershow. On today's show, we have our guest, author Versalle. She is a 48-year-old Black woman who was born and raised in Harlem, New York. She has a passion to help others and has worked in the medical field for close to 20 years, focusing on public health and prevention of disease. Versalle survived the crack era, along with the HIV and AIDS era, witnessing family members suffer from both diseases. Her love for writing was discovered in 2010 when she decided to return to school for her BA in psychology. Versalle found through therapy writing, which she liked to refer to as free writing. She was transitioned in life many times spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Now she shares those experiences in her first book entitled Free. Stay tuned because you don't want to miss this. You are watching Dropping Gems Aftershow.
Dropping gems from Keisha Christian. She's on a mission, sharing information, knowledge for soul, body and mind. Dropping gems, KeishaGems.com, KeishaGems.com.
For inquiries, for sponsorship, or advertising on this program, email info@KeishaChristian.com for more information.
Wholeness, wellness, balance. Introducing Chi Essence. When you can't get to the spa, unwind right in the comfort of your own home with our Unwind product line. Relax and let go. Enjoy our bath salts, spray mist, and essential roll-ons. Handcrafted, our oils reduce stress, relieve tension, and ease anxiety. Our products are 100% all natural and safe for the whole family. Order online at shopchiessence.com.
Hello, everyone, and I would like to welcome Versalle. Thank you, Versalle, so much for coming on the show today and sharing space with me and also sharing your story with my audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Keisha. It's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, and I have to let everyone know I actually met Versalle modeling. As some of you probably know, I have done some modeling in the past, and Versalle and I were both models in a fashion show that was a fundraiser for sickle cell anemia. So we got acquainted there, we became Facebook friends, and then I found out she was coming out with a book. So I really decided to contact her and to get her on my show so she could share her story with my audience. So thank you so much for taking the opportunity and responding when I extended this offer to you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yes,
My pleasure.
I have to tell everyone, as I mentioned before, she wrote a book called Free, Full Release to Everlasting Eternity. And I just found her story to be quite interesting, and she's going to share a bit of that with us today. So I want to know, what is the purpose of your book, and why did you decide to put it out?
Okay, so yes, my book is entitled Free, Full Release to Everlasting Eternity. And it's all of my blogging, not blogging, I did blog at one time, and my poetry collected over the years from my journals where I would write. Originally, it started in 2010 in a class that I went back to school in a class that I had a professor there who would come into the classroom, and he would put something on the board, a quote on the board, and would tell us to write. And he would just say, write, just write and don't stop. Just put your pen to the paper and write. And that's when I found out that I was able to write poetry. And that was the first time that I read out loud to an audience with my poetry. So that's where it originally started in 2010. I said, you know what, I'm going to continue to write and I'm going to put a book together, but it never happened. Just time went by and it never happened. But the book is entitled Free, for Release to Everlasting Eternity, because that's what I feel when I'm writing. It gives me, it's therapy, it's therapeutic for me. So that's why I had that title. I went with that title because originally I wanted to go with Free to Be Me, but that was just like too plain. It really didn't tap into what I really feel, when I'm writing, when I'm doing my free writing, when I'm doing my poetry.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how it got started.
Nice. And can you share a bit with my audience some of the topics you touch on in your book? Don't give away too much,
Okay.
but can you share with us what are some of the topics that you actually touch on in your book? Because I know your book is quite unique in the fact that you do include poetry in it as well as your life story. So can you tell us a bit?
So it's basically, the book is all poetry. It's all poetry, but what I add in the book is I let you, what is called true confessions. And I'll let you know exactly where I was at during the time, because poetry is art. And when when you're reading it, the reader, you get whatever you get, you take away from whatever you take out of it. But I let you know exactly where I was at during that exact moment in time. So that's the difference with my book. And the purpose is just to help someone. I touch on different things. I touch on date rape. I touched on love. I touch on family issues. Stuff that I've gone through with my marriages. I touch on so many different things in the book, even dealing with racism. There's some of everything in there. There's literally some of everything in there.
Yeah, so it's nice. So you really touch on various social issues and how you've dealt with it in your life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
probably things that people don't even know about you, people who are not even close, like really close to you.
Yeah, and it's so funny that you say that, because my family, who don't live here in the States, they in New York, they have read the book and reached out to me and like, Versalle, I didn't know. And they remind, like, we grew up, like my cousins, we grew up together, and they're like, I didn't know all of this. I didn't know that you were feeling, this way or going through all of this. So yeah, it's a lot. It's just, I just opened up. I decided to just open up, because you never know, your story can help somebody else. And I really do believe that.
Yeah, I believe that as well. I mean, as a fellow writer, sharing your knowledge with other people, things that you might even look at like, oh, that's so simple, but you put it into a book and you really touch someone else in a way that you never imagined. So, I mean, I really thank you for opening up yourself and being vulnerable and sharing, your deepest and darkest areas of your life.
Yeah. 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 And like I said, again, it's also healing for me. The point is to help someone else, but it's also healing for me. And I've had people that, I've had someone else who struggled with drugs, and I even have that in there, but it's not my personal experience, but it's, when you have someone in your family who has struggled or you've been around people, it touches you. You're going through this with them. So I put it in my point of view as to how I saw it and how I imagine what people are going through. And one individual, he's like, that's one of his favorite pieces. Like it really helped. It really, because he's still actually struggling now. He goes, sometimes he relapses, and this is something. And that's the point. Like that's, that's, I think, God gave me this talent, and that's the whole point of it, to help the next person.
Yes, definitely. And you don't realize to the impact you're going to have. And I really see your book is really going to have a powerful impact, especially on, our age group, our demographic, because we're looking back we have now the wisdom. We're still young, but
Right.
we're able to look back because we have wisdom, although we're
Mm-hmm.
young, to look
Mm-hmm.
back at what it was like when in our 20s and the
Right.
things we went through and the decisions we made. So definitely for young people, I'm looking at if reading my story and see what I go through, hopefully it will have an impact to help them not go through the same thing as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's true because my book is not in any particular order, but I touch things from as young as when I was a child
Mm-hmm.
up until things that happened in my 20s, things that happened in my 30s. I'm soon to be 50. So, all of that is in there. It's really in there. And a lot of women my age who that struggle with that love and trying to find that love and but you have to find that self-love. And I
Mm-hmm.
talk about that a lot. I had someone else, a young lady that I didn't even know, reached out to me, and she says that she really enjoyed the read, and from what she read, the little bit that she read, but she loved how I really put emphasis on God. For me, it was God and tapping into my spirituality and learning how to love myself, without giving so much. And that comes from upbringing, what I didn't get from my mom. So I touch on just a little bit, like without really doing any harm to my family and my loved ones. So, just letting you know, like where I was at during that time.
Yeah, that's a good thing because I was thinking too, because sometimes when we write these type of books, but yours is more in poetry form, we end up telling other people's stories too, because
Mm-hmm.
this naturally happens. You're telling your
Right.
story, but it involves other people. So I like the fact that you took that into consideration when writing the book. You
Definitely, definitely. And any photos that you see in my book, I definitely got permission from the individual because I did some personal pieces for people. But I've gotten their permission to do it. And it's very much positive. It's very positive and uplifting. Some stuff, like I said, I didn't touch too much on family, like I didn't use names and, stuff like that. So yeah, I did talk about my mom. I talked about my dad. My dad is deceased now, but that was important to put him in there. There's a letter to my father. So yeah. Yeah. So I think that's what that makes it different because it's poetry and it's in the poetry section, but it's also a self-help
Mm-hmm.
book. So it can go either way. You can enjoy it or you can. Yeah, I've read pieces and cried. People have read pieces and cried from my book. Like there's some stuff that, especially when I do read the letter to my dad, I cry every single time I read it as if I didn't write it myself. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're at that point when you're reading it, you're like reading it outside of yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I have that experience as well when I go back, even though I'm a nonfiction writer, I go back and when I read certain things, it's like it's outside of myself. So I'm like, wow, like that came from, what comes from a soul place. So you're like,
Right.
wow, at the time, the space you were in. So I could just imagine what you mean.
Right.
Do you have any future plans as far as writing? Do you plan on doing a book series? Do you plan on coming out with a piece? What do you plan on doing in the future?
I was just thinking about that last night. I was speaking to a friend of mine, and I have an idea for a second book. I don't think it's going to be. I'm not going to do poetry, but I want to do short stories. So it'll be fiction, but based on my life. Again, because there's so much that has happened in my life that I can just write a whole nother book about it. But I think I'm going to do that. It won't be free because one of my girlfriends, she was like, okay, so I'm ready for free too. I read that and I'm ready for this. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do free too. I wouldn't entitle it free part two. But I have an idea of the title that I want in my head and what I want to do. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. So, can you tell us a bit more? as far as the title goes, I know free, when you talk about free to be, because I'm thinking about free, like I have all this freedom now. So the title itself is very poignant because it really looks at what you're feeling now. So can you go into that a little bit more? Because you called it Full Release to Everlasting Eternity.
It's really about, so originally I had wanted to do Free to Be Me. And that title was letting go, like letting go of all of the pain, all of the hurt that I've gone through. I have, in the book, you'll see there's a picture of a tattoo that I have, and it's a sparrow on the tattoo, which represents love. And the sparrow is flying through a black cloud, and the word free is written in between like the wing and the body of the bird. And that's how I feel on a spiritual level, my connection with God and the stuff that I have gone through. So it's my freedom to love, and not to love individuals, but loving humanity and loving God. It's really about my connection with God. So when I did, originally I was going with that title, Free to Be Me, but when I looked it up, there was a lot of Free to Be Me's out there. So I was like, okay, I have to go a little bit deeper. So Full Release to Everlasting Eternity is, it's what I feel. It is what I feel when I'm writing, that I can let go. That's my therapy. Like I can let go of my issues and my problems. And I'm not saying by any means, like if people need therapy, therapy is good. Go seek therapy. I've gone through depression, but I was fortunate enough to work my way through it. And I recognize it because of the field that I'm in and I work in. So, but I'm not suggesting by any means, go talk to a therapist if you need to talk to a therapist. I'm not saying that this is the answer. This just worked for me. And this is what, this is why I entitled it Full Release to Everlasting Eternity. Because I want to be free forever. I want this feeling to last forever. I don't want it to ever go away. And anytime, I know hurt is going to come. It's a part of life when you lose loved ones or you to death, or you lose someone in relationships, and, it comes and goes, but I just don't want to be stuck in that, just that hurt. Being able to come out of it is just a wonderful feeling.
Yes, I love it. A book of poems that inspires people to learn how to heal themselves, and also with your true confessions you have sprinkled throughout, really, so they can make a connection with you and what probably going on in their lives, which is beautiful.
Yes, and it's so amazing because my ex-husband, he was one of the first people to purchase the book. But before it fully got released, because I have him in there also, I met with him and I had a conversation with him because we got married twice. FYI, don't do that, ever. Don't do that. If I could give anybody, don't do it. But we're good as friends. And I spoke to him. I asked to meet with him. We had a long talk. And I said, you know what? I wanted to meet with you because we never really addressed what happened the second time around. And the pain that I was feeling, I put it in the book. And it's not to, I'm not male bashing. I was not bashing him. And I explained that in my true confessions. I said, but I want to come to you firsthand because people are mean. People will take things before you can get your hands on it and see it and twist it and be in your ear and telling you some nonsense. So I just wanted you to hear it from me. And he was like, oh, no, please. He was like, I'm not even thinking about that. I can't wait to get it. And sure enough, he was the first one to get the book. And he put up a good review on Amazon about it, very positive. And, and it's also because communication, I think, is something that he struggled with. But to let him know, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay if we didn't work. We have our daughter. You're an amazing dad. And like I told him, if I don't love you for anything else, I love you for that. So you can get through this. So it's just so much. And it's not a big book, but it's full of so much in this small book, like 100 pages. So much that I believe that people can get out of it.
Nice. That's beautiful. Can you tell my audience where can they purchase your book? And can you tell us your social media handles if they would like to follow you on social media?
Okay, so again, it's free, full release to everlasting eternity, and it's available on Amazon.com, and it's also available on Barnes and Nobles, which I don't think people are really going on Barnes and Nobles, but you can get it on there. Barnes and Nobles and Amazon, and my links, my Instagram link is, I'm so bad with that. It's V better, it's V, just the letter V, better S. That's my Instagram. And my Facebook is VEE, better than before, right? Yeah, I think yes, that's what it is. Okay, thank you. So I have such a bad, oh my gosh, people, when I'm bumping into people, they're like, what's your Instagram? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember those things.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But that information you did give to me, thankfully. So definitely, if you're watching this on YouTube, all of Versalle's information will be in the description box below. And also, as you can see, it's on the screen right now. So if you want to get her book on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles free, you could definitely do that. Pick yourself up a copy today. And
Yes.
Versalle, do you have any lasting words that you would like to leave with my audience today? Any lasting or inspirational words you would like to leave with my audience today?
If lasting words, if anything that I can give is, really focus on loving yourself, putting that energy into yourself, because once you love yourself, that energy will project onto other individuals. They will actually feel that, and people will draw to you. And that has been happening to me. Like, I've really never had a problem with people and attitudes, and I believe in uplifting and loving everyone. But now more than ever, especially during COVID, during the pandemic, and I remember when this first happened, I said, gosh, I wonder, God is like really talking to us. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of people, and people got sick and dying from it, but it's always the hustle and bustle. I got to go. I got to do this. I can't call this family. I can't spend time this one. You know what I mean? I can't even spend time with myself because I'm so busy chasing this dollar, trying to do this, trying to do that. And it's like, wait, sit back, take a minute and reflect on you, and build a better you. That's why my social media is be better, because I'm always trying to be better. I'm always open for learning. Like, you're never too old to learn. I don't know everything, and if I don't, it's okay that I don't. Like, I'm open to learning. But self-love is everything, and that doesn't mean that you're conceited or you think you're better than someone else. It's just to lift you up internally, externally, spiritually. It's just such an amazing feeling. And keep you looking young, like, live your life. I have that quote in there. What is life if you don't learn how to live? You have to really learn how to live. And especially now, appreciate every single moment.
Exactly.
Every single moment matters.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. When I'm listening to you, I'm hearing be still. That's what we were taught to do during this time of the pandemic. Well, that's the message I received, to be still.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
most definitely. Well, thank you, Versalle, so much for coming on. It's appreciated.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching this segment of Dropping Gems. Peace, blessings, and holistic health to you. Much abundance.
Peace to you.
Welcome to Dropping Gems, an academy for holistic studies. Learn how to treat seasonal allergies and year-long allergies naturally with Keisha Christian. Her courses have helped parents, teachers, naturalists, and therapists reassess the way they handle allergy symptoms. Registration to our class is now open. Reserve your spot today. You can also become a certified holistic studies practitioner with us. Be empowered with knowledge and help us in spreading the positivity with the rest of the world. Visit www.droppinggemsacademy.com or email us at info@KeishaChristian.com.
I would like to thank our guest, Versalle, and be sure to check out her new book, Free. It's a great read. And special thank you to my subscribers. If you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe, click the like button, and leave a comment down below letting me know how you enjoyed today's episode. Holistic health and much abundance to you. See you next week. Peace and blessings to you.